A young bride-to-be, days away from walking down the aisle, disappears without a trace. Security cameras capture her entering a building, but not a single frame shows her coming back out. What happened to Annie Lou would leave Yale University and the entire nation stunned. It was early September 2009 in New Haven, Connecticut. The ivy-covered walls of Yale University stood tall, symbols of tradition and brilliance. Among the thousands of students, 24-year-old Annie Lou stood out, not just for her academic excellence, but for her bright, optimistic personality. Annie was pursuing a PhD in pharmacology, with dreams of using her research to improve lives. She was tiny in stature, just under 5 feet tall, but she had the determination of someone twice her size. Born in San Jose, California, she came from a loving Vietnamese-American family who worked hard to give her every opportunity. Her friends described her as meticulous, always planning ahead. Whether it was her experiments in the lab or her upcoming wedding to her college sweetheart, Jonathan Widowski. The two had met as undergraduates and were now just 5 days away from saying, "I do." On September 8, 2009, Annie left her apartment in her usual routine. She was dressed for work in the university's secure research building at 10 Amistad Street. She swiped her Yale ID at the entrance, entered, and then vanished. Security footage confirmed she went inside. But oddly, there was no footage of her leaving. Not through the front, the back, or any side exits. When Annie didn't show up for a meeting and failed to answer her phone, concern quickly escalated. Friends, classmates, and her fiancé began calling police. Detectives from the New Haven Police Department arrived at the lab building. Inside, the atmosphere was tense. This was a high-security research facility, the kind of place where you couldn't just wander in or out unnoticed. The police reviewed the access logs. Annie's keycard showed she had entered at 10 a.m., but there were no swipes to indicate she had left. That meant she was still inside, or something far worse had happened. The search began room by room, floor by floor. Investigators interviewed dozens of lab workers. Her fiancé was questioned, standard procedure, but he was quickly cleared. He was in New York at the time and devastated by her disappearance. In the building's basement, officers noticed something odd. A section of wall with fresh scuff marks and a faint metallic smell. It led them to a utility chase, a narrow, mechanical space that ran between floors. On September 13th, the day Annie was supposed to be married, police made a chilling discovery. Hidden inside the wall, behind a panel, was Annie's body. She had been strangled. The autopsy confirmed her death was a homicide. The building that had been her workplace, her sanctuary of science, had become her tomb. The location of her body narrowed the list of suspects. Not just anyone could access that mechanical chase. Investigators focused on building maintenance staff, those who knew the hidden areas and didn't require keycard swipes to move between secure spaces. Their attention turned to Raymond Clark III, a 24-year-old animal lab technician who had worked alongside Annie. On the surface, Clark was friendly, engaged to be married himself, and well-liked by some co-workers. But others described him as controlling and obsessive about lab rules. Detectives learned that Annie had complained about Clark's behavior in the past, saying he was overly strict about lab cleanliness and sometimes made her uncomfortable. Investigators believed Clark may have confronted her in the lab's basement, escalating into violence. When questioned, Clark seemed nervous and evasive. Police obtained a search warrant for his apartment, where they found items linked to the crime, including evidence of Annie's DNA. In October 2010, facing overwhelming evidence, Raymond Clark pleaded guilty to the murder of Annie Lou. The motive was never fully explained in court, but prosecutors suggested it was a work-related confrontation that spiraled into an attack. He was sentenced to 44 years in prison. Annie's murder sent shockwaves through Yale. A memorial service honored her life and dreams, with her family and fiancé present. Her death also sparked changes in campus safety protocols, especially in secure lab environments. Jonathan, her fiancé, has largely stayed out of the public eye, but friends say he carries her memory with him every day. Annie Lou entered the lab that morning with plans for a lifetime ahead, a promising career, a wedding, a future. Instead, She became the victim of a senseless act that robbed the world of her brilliance. And while justice was served, the loss remains, an unresolved ache for everyone who loved her.